if you tell yourself, oh, that's my bad knee, you start to believe it.
When you hear that from someone that's maybe not active, not training, they don't realize how good that they could feel.
They just think they're too far gone, past it, and there's no chance that now anymore that they could do anything about it.
Oh, yeah.
And that wears away at your movement confidence, really.
What are the starting points, or where do they kind of go from there?
It's time to stretch and stretch.
Welcome to You Can Fix You, giving you mobility tips to build movement freedom and train with confidence. Episode 12. Jenny's here. Nobody cares. We'll introduce her in the next episode because we filmed it up before this one.
Yeah,
So this is the past.
Time travel exists.
We're in the past right now. This one's starting off different. We're going off the script.
It's a Reacts episode.
It's a React.
Wow.
So we had a comment on one of our usual lovely social media posts. I think it was for the dumbbell shoulder rotation. On
just to be clear, we get a lot of comments. We do try to answer a lot of them.
Yes.
But we don't get to all of them.
No, unfortunately not. We try our best.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is great because it means we're helping so many people, which is awesome. So this one was from Scott Esri, who commented on one of our posts. I dislocated and sprung my AC joint of my right shoulder in 2006. The doctor said I wasn't important enough to get surgery. Example, not an athlete. It caused me huge issues ever since. But due to your advice, 2023 was a year of strengthening my posterior chain and shoulder stability, and especially my subscapular strength. Been limited and in pain for 18 years. 18 years? 18 years. And now, pain-free.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
So that's something that we see all of the time.
It never gets not shocking.
And it's really, really sad because that doctor potentially was having a bad day even. Who knows? Who know what had just happened? And he just said that to that guy for whatever reason, and that's literally ruined 18 years of his life. Like that one moment or that one decision. That's crazy. It's really crazy.
Puts you on a completely different trajectory for your entire life. So it doesn't ruin your life, but it ruins your training life, like the things you maybe want to do,
could
your
ruin
goals.
your life. Who knows? Like some people.
It's such a shame because whether you're an athlete or not, I mean, athletes get preference for treatment and stuff because it's their literal job to perform.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that everyday people aren't also super important and that their joints working fully won't have a significant impact, not just in their life, but everyone that they touch in their life, like their kids or their relatives or their friends. It just has
everyone's
such
important.
A carry-on.
And it's such a big thing. And it's a big thing as well. You see a lot with like ageism. And it's like, oh, I'm 70 and I've hurt myself. It's like, oh, but you're 70, it doesn't matter. It's like, yes, it does.
Yeah.
It's like, I still have plenty of years in me and can still get
the whole
fixed.
promise of life is that whenever you retire at like 65, your life begins.
Yeah.
Of course you're important when you're 70 years.
And nowadays, you could still have 20 years left in you.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Easily. At 10 easily, but 20 is more and more common. So to just write off the last 20 years of your life.
Yeah. Both my grannies were in their 90s.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's nuts. So yeah, everyone is important, especially if you get a diagnosis like that. Whatever stage of life you're at, it can send you off on a little tangent, on a little trajectory. And it's important to get things resolved at the earlier the better.
And it's the thing as well, there's a few things to kind of unpack as well, is that maybe it was what the doctor said, or maybe you picked it up wrong as well. So people don't, like, I'm the worst person for this. You guys maybe know that I will understand what I want to understand and not understand what you actually said.
No, I never experienced that. No, not even a single time. No.
Yeah. So I a long time ago, I wrote this email, I think it was, of like the story of Bob and Brad. And you picture two people that got the exact same injury. And they both went to a physiotherapist, and one of them told them that their training is quite dangerous and that they need to make sure and rehab this because their back's quite weak in this position. And here's how you strengthen it. One of them hears, your back's weak, what you do is dangerous. The other one hears, oh, I need to strengthen it, and here's what I need to do to get back to my training. Totally. And it's just this exact same information given to these two people that interpret it in two different ways. And you see in a year's time, Bob, who maybe thought, I have a weak back, stopped training, stopped doing everything. The pain got worse because he lost stability. And whoever else, Brad, was it Brad? Bob, Brad? No, that's the physiotherapist. Bob and Brad, the most famous physiotherapists.
It wasn't Brad in the email, but I can't remember what it was.
We'll go with Timothy. But yeah, so Timothy who is now Timothy.
Timothy, who was Brad. I hope
Brad.
you're following this.
He
What's
heard.
complicated? There's Brad, Timothy, Dalton, and
Bob,
Timmy.
the
No wonder people
physiotherapist.
get confused. Anyway, he heard he has to strengthen, so he has went on the path of strengthening, figuring his weaknesses, and felt fine in a couple of weeks, like, just because he kept on moving, And that's especially with something like disc injuries, for example. It's like so many
Yeah.
people have them, but because they're active and trained, the muscles are always strong and they're always moving. They don't really get any symptoms. They feel okay. It's actually in that resting period where things can start to get much worse, which is why it's always so important to move no matter what.
You see that in TV shows, especially, I think Breaking Bad did it, where whenever he's told you have cancer, the voice goes muffled. You hear a ringing noise, and it's just that shock where you can't take on board what they're saying.
Yeah, and you just
don't
think,
know-
I need to cook meth.
That was my first thought.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But you don't know, is
No.
it like, is this a treatable cancer? Is
Yeah.
this like, you've got 2 days to live sort of thing?
Yeah.
It is very much just, you hear a term and you identify then with that one thing, and your mind just goes off on this little rampage. It's like you've Googled, I have a sore elbow, and you're like, well, I need to amputate my arm.
Yeah. We talk about self-labeling quite a lot, and
Yeah.
not even self-labeling, labeling in general. Like, we love, as a people, as a species, we love an identity.
Yep.
I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a CrossFitter, I'm a designer, whatever it is. We latch on to anything about us, which unfortunately also includes I've got sciatica, I've always got back pain, I've got this, my back's this, my knee's that, this is my bad knee. We love these labels about ourselves, so as soon as someone gives us one, positive or negative,
Oh, yeah.
we latch onto it.
Because it's special.
Yeah, it's you. And it's also an excuse,
Yeah.
which is not necessarily a dirty word. Sometimes an excuse is a bad
Dirty
thing.
Sounds so funny with an English accent. Sorry.
You're the ones that speak funny, right? Situation.
I showed you that.
And I'm throwing it in your face.
Jenny just insulted all of Ireland and Northern Ireland right there.
Our smallest audience.
But the most powerful.
Captain.
Anyway, because, like, in a negative sense, an excuse is I don't particularly want to work on my fitness. Oh, I've got sciatica, or I've got whatever, so that's my excuse.
Yeah.
That's just me, that's what I've got, I can't possibly go for a run. An excuse could also be more like a way of being kind to yourself, like, I'm still going to try and do X, Y, and Z, but this is the reason why I need to go slower, this is the reason why I need to adapt. So, like, having these labels can be both good and bad, but it's just something we always do. We just latch on and go, yes, this is me, this is what I am, this is what I've got.
It's a funny thing with pain as well, because your brain as a defense to stop you moving will look for those excuses.
Yeah.
So it's not even that you don't even think that someone is lazy or whatever like that. If you're in pain, your body's going to tell you to slow down and not do something, and you're going to not feel motivated. So it can be a personality trait that comes from hurting yourself at some point. It's like, I need to be careful, and if that keeps cycling around, that becomes your identity. So it's something we all need to be careful of,
Especially because if you look at, again, this example of Scott, that happened 18 years ago, and for 18 years he followed that path and that belief and all the effects that came with it. And actually, knowing what we know, that your body is biology, it can change given the right stimulus. That could so easily have been a different path. It's such a responsibility for not just doctors, but physios and coaches into the words that you use and how you describe things, and making sure that you're not just telling a person something, that you're asking them questions and getting them to repeat it back to you so that you hear what they are hearing.
Yeah.
Is really helpful to make sure that sort of fork in the road is going to go the right direction.
You should always want your body to be completely okay, no matter what you do or what your interests are, so that you have the ability to, even if 2 years, 5 years time, you decided you want to be an ultra marathon runner or be a masters CrossFit athlete or something like that, so that you have that capability, you know, because you see it all the time, like the inspirational stories of someone that was like massively overweight and then they just decided 1 year, you know what, I'm going to lose this.
This is the year.
Yeah, this is the year, and have this incredible story. But yeah, if they hurt their knee 15 years ago, that's that excuse that's sitting there. It's like, I want to lose weight, but my bad knee, you know. So you should never write off a limb or go like, that's my bad knee, that's my bad shoulder, whatever, like that there. Get it fixed. Even if you're not interested in using it now, you might want to, the opportunity, you want to be there later on. So yeah, you always want to be having your body at its optimal ability to move things. So
totally.
if you do decide you want to move things, you want to push things at one point, it's there.
Oh, totally. And you probably found this as well when you had kids, like the change between pre-kids Tom and post-kids Tom. You want to do stuff now with your kids, like go and do activities, maybe like play tennis or something like that, whereas you couldn't even have pictured that before.
Well, because that was your back injury was just before you had Roxy, wasn't it? And
that was a
big
motivation to go through. That was why I moved through the pain. The idea of not being able to get down on the floor or hold my kid, that was powerful enough for me to want to push through the pain. Like whenever it feels so like you shouldn't, like very counterintuitive to move whenever something is really stabby sore. But that's what kept me going, was like, I have to try this, because I just, for whatever reason, I just knew if I didn't do something to fix it, it would just keep getting worse. And I think that's just from the coaching knowledge I had at that point. But there was so much other knowledge I didn't have. I didn't understand anything about backs at that time. To me, I thought the discs could slip out and slip back in. That's what I believed at that time. A slip disc, which is an awful, it's a weird, stupid term. And that's if you hear, oh, slip disc, oh, my disc has slipped, that means I'm out of alignment. It's like, well, just stand up straight then. It's not that simple, but it is terms you can hear can make things sound really scary. And even just hearing arthritis, you don't just imagine a couple of wee dots on the bone. You imagine something's worn away. It's like rusted. My joints are rusted, you know.
Well, that's a big thing about not just, so at the point of this diagnosis, the labeling and all this stuff is the mental battle, but say it is 20 years later, that's been playing on your mind. You've been imagining this degradation or just degeneration, all this kind of stuff. And most people that I've run into who haven't suddenly had this burst of motivation, but just maybe are sort of lower level, I'm not happy with this, or I kind of want to do this, kind of not. They just think they're too far gone, past it. And there's no chance that now anymore that they could do anything about it. And that's such a common mindset for people to be in, which is very sad.
The worst place to be is it's not bad enough to want to fix it. So that mine was bad enough that I was like, I woke up with it every morning, I have to fix this. But you can get to a stage where it's just like, it's just a bit sore, but it stops you still from doing everything, and it's just a bad place to be.
Wears away at your movement confidence, really. So over time you barely notice it happening, but then you're groaning as you get up. You're sort of like, oh no, I'll stay here, you go on ahead,
you go have fun now.
It just happens so slowly, and then this is just who I am now. That's the identity, is I'm not physically fit.
Do you guys find, as you're getting older, that phrases that you heard as a child from grandparents or parents, whatever, come back to sort of haunt you, but kind of like, oh yeah, they did actually, that's a really good phrase?
Such as?
Well, the one that sort of popped in my head was like, protect your mind. Is this idea of what you consume, or the way I understood it as a kid was whatever you watch or whatever you read is the information you get. So you want to protect what you read, so be selective about what you watch and that sort of thing. Yeah. That's good advice. But also protect your mind from yourself, which is now what I'm sort of thinking about, is if you tell yourself, oh, that's my bad knee, you start to believe it. And 18 years is such a long time. If you told yourself every day when you wake up, you're not worth helping, after 18 years you're for sure going to believe that. But if every morning you woke up and said, I deserve the best, then after 18 years you're going to believe it. So that's one of those phrases that kind of has come back around, and I've sort of changed how I think about it.
Everything, not just phrase, I guess, will mean different things to you at different points of your life, which is really interesting. I can't think of an example right now, but there's definitely times where I'm like, oh, that's why that was relevant, or that's why that was so poignant
Yeah.
or whatever. Like,
Or one of those sort of history things that you learn people did back in the early 19th century or whatever, and you think, that was silly. But whenever you think about the context of the time, and you're like, oh, of course you would do that. It's so sensible, and actually
Yeah.
probably still should do that.
and get
Separating your whites from your colours, guys. It's important, okay?
Yeah.
One I changed my opinion on was that you'll know about it when you're older.
Oh, interesting.
And the way I kind of look at that now is hearing that from two different people. So hearing that from an active person that's older and hearing that from someone that's inactive that's older is very, very different. Because yes, I always used to wonder when I was in my late 20s, why at age 35, in CrossFit terms, they had this master's weight. So the master's athletes got to lift a little bit lighter than what the prescribed weight was for each workout. And I was like, that's not fair. If they've been training for 10 years, whatever, they'll be stronger, blah, 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 blah. But now hitting my mid-30s, I'm like, things do move a bit slower now. Even though you put the same amount of work in, but it still feels like a little bit more effort. And I've started to realize that, I don't recover as fast as I used to. And it's like, but I still feel great. I feel much better than a lot of other people in their mid-30s because of being active and doing everything that we do and all. But when you hear that from someone that's maybe not active, not training, they don't realize how good that they could feel.
Yeah.
So there's that other ceiling of things. So it's like, yes, obviously things do get harder as you get older, but if you're training as well,
Oh, yeah.
then you're going to offset a lot of that stuff. So you can still feel pretty good.
Oh,
so there is a very different, like I said, an upper ceiling of how you can feel if you're doing good stuff and how you feel if you don't do anything. So yes, if you're not moving and you're getting older as well, that's two things against you.
A double whammy. Yeah, and like you said, it's relative to the person. So in rowing terms, there's a masters athlete called Greg Searle. Now in rowing it's called veteran. It sounds very cool. But he won an Olympic medal in I want to say 1992, whatever the date was, way back when. He then quit rowing and competed again in 2012 at 42 and won another Olympic medal. So you think, although for him he's a little bit slower, a little bit less mobile or whatever, and yet he's still top of the world. So it's all relative. So if the most that you've challenged yourself is a walk, a little bit slower and a little bit more sluggish on a walk, it's going to feel much, much different than a little bit slower, a little bit more sluggish if you maxed out your potential and it's just a little decline. You're still going to be in a much better place than a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, we all have a capacity, and in everything we do, there's going to be some people who have a bigger capacity for whatever. But if you never get close to it, it's similar to the "don't be the heaviest thing you lift" philosophy. Like, if all you're doing is staying at the baseline, as soon as you start to dip a bit, that means you've gone below baseline immediately, the minimum requirements immediately. But if your starting point is up here, then even if you slip a bit, you're so far away from the baseline, the minimum standard still, that you're annoyed, but you're still doing well. And we're all in our 30s, and
Thank you.
Wash your mouth out.
But I was speaking to probably both of you over the years of me being so frustrated with how little training I do now compared to when I was in my 20s. We run a business that's hectic. We're always busy. So training is very much a hobby now, whereas it used to be in my life. But because, I think it was you, JP, that said that because I spent my 20s building a foundation, that yes, letting it slip to a hobby level in my 30s still means that, I started off up here, so I've only come down to here.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than if I'd spent my 20s doing absolutely nothing, and then I decided to do less.
Oh, yeah. It's such a good investment in your time and effort when you're young to push it.
Yeah.
And for somebody like Scott, to bring it full circle, in some ways he was robbed of that.
Yeah.
When he was younger, he was then told to stop and not do things. And that's such a challenge to come back from.
But not impossible.
Not impossible, exactly.
Yeah.
So fair play to Scott for getting after it. 2023 was his year. If somebody else is in a similar boat where they spent a lot of their life whether it's sort of imprisoned in the thought that they can't do something, or they're only just discovering fitness now. Like, what are the starting points, or where do they kind of go from there?
It's one of the, I always like to talk and bring it back about Phil, who I trained. He came into the gym. He used to just bring his son, or his mum. So we had a family friend.
Wow.
Going back.
Yeah.
We had a
Start
family
from the
friend,
start.
and they're
It's like Bob and Bert all over again.
Bob and Timothy. Family friend had a son. Okay.
Phil.
Called no. Look. So I was going to train this family friend, their son. He was, I think, 10 years old at the time, and they wanted him to get a bit more confidence, come and train. So I would have taken him for one-to-one sessions, and his mum would always bring him. And one week, he came in. This was after a good few months, and we were training away. We were getting on really well. His dad brought him, and his dad kind of limped as he walked and brought him in and kind of sat down to train. I didn't think anything of it, and I had the training session, and I kind of just asked him, just you have a wee bit of a limp there. You kind of,
Sure.
shuffle as you walk a wee bit. And it's like, you have any injuries or anything I could maybe help you out with? Because, that's what I'm really interested in. That's what I like to help with.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned that he had a disc injury. And I says, do you remember what the MRI report said that you had? And it was no different to kind of what I have.
Sure.
And I was like, you never did anything? When did this happen? And it happened when he was in his, just 30s. Mm-hmm. So he was playing rugby, got this back injury, and doctor said, week back, you need to give up rugby, not do anything. And that was him then. So then, went about his life, had his son, did everything, and just stopped any kind of physical activity, even though he loved it. This is so common. We see this all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he just stopped doing everything he loved and just got involved more with work and other things,
Yep.
And within 6 weeks of us I would have given him a few things to work on in the corner as I was still training his son. So started off, he was just doing little hip rotations and started learning how to do lunges while holding on to things. That's where we started, the easiest things we could do. And I was just like, can you sit down on the floor here? The guy had really good hip flexibility.
Oh, nice.
There was just no strength there. So his hips moved great.
Oh, yeah.
He just had very little strength, and he wasn't moving his hips fully.
Yes.
And then as the weeks went on, he was lunging up and down the entire gym.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, he was coming to the gym with his son every week, training with his son, doing the same workouts as his son.
That's class.
That was incredible. And, it was just a whole new lease on life. And he sent me a text one Christmas, I think it was, saying that the Morrison method works. I just painted our front fence for fun over Christmas, and if you've ever had really bad debilitating back pain, anything like building a table, painting a fence, doing anything at all, the dishes, it's just debilitating. I still can't do dishes. I know my back after all these years, still to this day.
Shelley is so happy about that. Oh no, my back.
Anywho, let's hope Shelley doesn't listen to that. But yeah, just like
is that why you can't pair socks as well? Oh, right, okay.
This thing that happened to 30 years old, it just changes everything about the person's identity. And if you believe you have a week back, it's what could have happened to me, which is I get really, really into that. Is that the right phrase? I just really feel for it. I just know that could have been me. That could have been what happened to me. I was just completely knuckleheaded and just kept banging my head against the wall until it was fixed. Yeah. And it took me a year to get fixed. Whereas I was for staying in the job that I hated and everything. I was going to give up all of my hobbies and passion, and we wouldn't even start the business then. Yeah. I just wouldn't have existed. I'd just be some guy that works in a bed office somewhere.
I wouldn't be making silly videos every week.
Yeah.
Well, you might have done.
Look at the silly one I made today. You get paid to do that? What?
Yeah, but that's the thing about how inspirational anyone can be as well, because I'm inspirational. Wow. I just realized what that sounded like.
Wow.
No, but that's...
I turned that guy's life around.
You don't realize the impact that you'll have on everyone else around you just from something as silly as fitness.
Well, because you think if that guy hadn't come in with his son, he'd still be in the same boat.
Yeah.
Chances are.
Fence wouldn't be painted.
Which is so crazy. And it goes to show that just finding the right person or finding the right video or just finding that thing that helps you get a little bit of a redirect or challenges you in a way where you don't have to let go of the past 18 years in a heartbeat.
It's going to take time. You'll get the heartbeat reference
Back
next
to the
episode.
future. Back to the future, guys. You have to come back and rewatch this. But you know, it'll be a gradual shift. The mind will probably change slower than the body. The body will adapt very, very quickly. It's just doing the right things and starting somewhere that allows you to get something done.
There's always something you can do. Even if
you've been a certain way for 18 years, it's going to take way longer than it would if
Yeah,
you'd done it for a
yeah.
year.
But like, that's one, like, it's a cliche, but starting is the hardest part. It is. It really is.
That's one of those phrases.
Oh, yeah, it is. Put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Now we go. Any more?
One of the trickiest things to navigate as well is the confirmation bias. Got a cramp there, GP?
That was dramatic.
The confirmation bias.
Oh,
so
yes.
isn't there a vast difference between the internet, so our social media, and the comments you see on our social media compared to the SMM group?
Yeah.
Oh, massive.
So you'll see a
That's
post.
ridiculous.
So you just imagine these two different sections of the world, you know, and this is just people that you talk to. On one of our posts, you'll see, here's how you build up lunges from the easiest level possible. Someone will comment on it saying, not with my arthritic knees, or not if you've got no meniscus like me, all this here kind of stuff like that. Whereas in the SMM group, you'll see someone that will maybe say, hey, I've got arthritis in my knees. Has anyone found that this has been helpful for them? And you'll have 10 people saying, yep, I was told worst arthritis in the world, bone on bone, and I just did this, took a bit of time, there was a few setbacks, and I feel great now.
Yeah.
Still maybe plays up from time to time. You'll have this whole different perspective.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're searching for, oh, is it bad to do this with this? You will be told yes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go, has anyone got this and is okay? You will also find the same people, or not the same people, but different people that say, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing special about what any of the three of us have ever done.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, but we're not special. Millions of people have done the same
yeah.
stuff that we have. Okay, Jenny's a little bit special. But yeah, we all have bodies that are hopefully made of the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is always a way to fix things. Never think you're written off.
It's
Written
so-
off?
yeah.
Ratted off.
Rat.
So-
Ratted.
If you look at the comments, let's talk about outside of the group. I kind of look at those as seeing a body as like a table or a computer, in that everything that you do damages it a little bit. Okay, so you're working at a computer, you're typing, you're slowly wearing away the covering on top of the keys, the mechanism that's depressing, the processor that's working, the battery that's running, everything's getting a little bit worse. Whereas inside the SMM group, it's like the shift of, no, the body is biology, and biology changes. It can regrow. You give it the right nutrition, you give it the right recovery with sleep, you give it the right mindset, you damage it in the right way so that it is stimulated to rebuild stronger. And it's such, in some ways it's a subtle change, and in others it's so night and day that I don't know how to get it across to somebody.
Yeah.
Until they discover it themselves.
Yeah, that literally your body will grow to whatever space you give it. And that can go either way. It either grows stronger or grows weaker. But it never stays the same as well. Like, it never stays the same. Whatever you give it, it will adapt to.
Exactly.
Tequila!
I thought you were just going to start singing. I was like, why did he say that? I see.
No, but whatever you give your body, it will get better at. I can handle a lot of tequila now. I couldn't the first time.
I was still wondering where that was going to.
We still don't talk about 2012, okay?
It was a long year for everybody.
Everybody.
I actually wasn't here then. I didn't know you guys then.
You're not that young.
I was in a different country.
Oh.
I was clearly
You were
born.
forsaken. So, sorry, back to Scott.
Oh yeah, the podcast.
Say you are meeting Scott a month before he starts turning his life around. Where would you suggest he starts? What's sensible for him to try? Like, how would you give somebody guidance, Jenny? Because Tom's already talked about Phil.
Well, Scott. It's tricky because everyone will have a different capacity. I mean, I was saying about capacity for your end point. People have capacity for their starting points as well. Like, you very much have to gauge who you are as a person. Some people are all or nothing. All right, I'm going to fix myself, so that's it. I am all in. Whereas other people, they'll react far better to, oh, I'm going to make a little change. and then after a few weeks, I'll make another little
Yeah.
change. So there's two very different approaches, but with both of them, you just need to find out where you're at now.
Yep.
Don't be looking at someone else and going, why am I not there? It's, where am I? What can I do? And even if that's like, oh, I'm just going to give it a wiggle,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Totally.
that could
Well,
be
hopefully
your
the sore
starting
bit.
point.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, jeez, that's 2012 all over again. I wasn't even here and I heard about that. Yeah, so like there's a skill to finding out where you're starting from, which is why coaches exist. It's why we are here. You know, you need that support sometimes because it can be very easy to go, well, that's too simple.
Yeah.
I need to be doing more in order to make a difference, or that's not going to make a difference because all I'm doing is wiggling.
Yeah, yeah.
But genuinely, that could be your starting point. I'm going to rotate my shoulders today.
Yeah. Because what you're doing there is you're looking at range of motion.
Yeah.
You're looking
Yeah.
at what do I currently have
Yeah.
and how do I get a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that there's no load with that. So again, shoulders, Scott's got a shoulder,
Yeah.
as we all do, hopefully. And he's just doing a circle,
Yeah.
unloaded. Before making any crazy programs, it's
Yeah.
just how much movement can I
Yeah.
get? And then after movement, you'd maybe get like a bit of stability in there, a little bit of balancey stuff.
Yeah, maybe resistance bands.
Yeah.
Or it could still be body weight stability, depending on, how fast you're progressing. And then after that is where you start going for strength and endurance.
Yeah. And Tom's classic stupid strong.
It's stupidly
TM.
strong. Which
Yeah,
is
TM.
be stronger than you ever need to be so that you won't have any problems ever. The acquisition of information is really important.
Wow.
So if you go to someone and they go, no, you're broken, that's never going to help. You go, okay, second opinion, please. Third opinion, please.
Yeah.
Fourth opinion, please. Fifth opinion, please. Until you find someone that goes, oh, I've seen that before. This is what this person did and it helped them.
Nice.
Why don't we start working with that, with you?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some people, as with anything, like we always say, there's good doctors, bad doctors, good physios, bad physios.
50% of people are below average.
50% of people are below average.
It's just a fact.
It is, yeah.
Another phrase that means more as we get older.
So many phrases.
There's bad coaches, good coaches. There's bad exercises. There's good exercises. There's bad exercises at the wrong time, and there's good exercises at the right time. And the other way that would make
Yeah,
sense.
that was... Yeah.
It's like Brad and Bob all over again.
Timothy!
No, he's Jeff now.
That's right. It makes sense.
So you need to be like always looking for someone that's been on the path or that knows about the path, because even if you can sometimes get to a point where you've started rehabbing something. So the shoulders is a classic example, actually, that you get to a point where you get your band exercises, you do a couple of body weight things and you're like, oh, it feels better now. I'm going to go back, resume my normal training. 6 months down the road, it's bad again. This is my bad shoulder. I'm stuck in this path. I've got a bad shoulder now. Whereas you needed to take the rehab process longer, which is that idea of get stupidly strong. So like over strengthen the thing so it just never becomes a problem again. That's what I always like to think about, rather than just, it's pain free now. La da
Let's go
da.
back. Yeah.
How many times have you done that, Jenny?
I don't want to talk about it. But as you were saying about the simplistic mobility method group, the Facebook group, that is, you don't have, like, obviously paying for a coach and finding a coach is ideal because it's one-on-one, it's individual, tailored to you. But
And
that takes,
it's easy to do these days.
it's easier, but
Easier,
it's still
yeah.
time, money, and potentially going through a few different people before you find the right one. The SMM group, you can say, has anyone had this before?
Yeah.
And you've got a group of over 10,000 people in which we're all positive towards recovery. None of us are going to be like, ugh, your life is over.
I get to see the cogs of your brain going.
What the negative people say.
And that one of the weird things in a lot of groups that I noticed of other groups, not ours, is that if someone asks a question, I think they're being genuine, ask the question. If you don't know something, you don't know it. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Yeah. And so many people will light on them saying, "But you need to ask a doctor. Don't do that. Just don't be asking for advice on the internet and stuff like that." But it's like, no, there is value in advice on the internet. If as long as it's from a personal experience from someone saying that, I have that, and this is what they said. I went to this person, so you go, okay, so I need to go to that person that they went to.
Even just the fact that you can see 3 other people going, I got through that. rather than 20 people going, oh, be careful.
Totally.
Like, it's just that community, a supportive community, which your friends and family might not be accidentally, because they might be saying, oh, be careful, like out of love, like, don't aggravate that, I'll carry that for you, whatever.
They try to be helpful,
Exactly.
and in being helpful actually inhibit your progress.
Yeah, and totally meaningful. Like, they've got the right
intentions.
Thank you. I was really struggling there. So just having, without even needing to take the step of professional help, which we recommend, you can still have that community of the right support, almost tough love sometimes, of like, no, you can do it, but it's going to take this much work and this much effort. You can't just hope for it.
Like those people are out there, those stories are out there. Like, you can go on YouTube right now and search the 90-year-old granny that does yoga, and she only started when she was 85 and she's doing all the fancy advanced stuff in yoga.
So,
it's like, I'm thinking, happy days. I don't need to start yoga till I'm 85. But it's that those people are out there, and if you search, you'll find them. And again, the other people that didn't want to do anything, or just didn't get the right information at the right time, or just maybe, like, it could even be a case of they went to a doctor that said, oh, you're too old, you need to stop that, and they went, I'm not going to listen, I'm going to go to a physiotherapist, and they just got unlucky, and they went to a physiotherapist that said, oh no, that's dangerous, you shouldn't be doing that. And then, they maybe talked to a couple of their friends and went, yeah, I hurt myself doing that too, and that was it. Boom, 3 times, you're out. You're just thinking, oh well, I can't be fixed then. And that's people just get unlucky like that.
Is there a basis for? Okay, so this happened to Scott when he was. Did he say his age?
18 years younger than he was in 2023.
Great, cool. Let's say, for example,
he's 40.
That he was 40. He was 22 when he was told by the doctor.
Yeah.
Right. What if he was 42 or 62 when he was told by the doctor? Like, is there a point at which your body won't come back from, or does it change as you get older? Is there basically what
a
I'm
point of no
managing
return.
Expectations? Yes.
That'll do.
So there is, if you haven't done anything for many, many years and you're, going towards 60s, 70s, it's going to be very hard to get more movement into like your upper back and stuff. But that just means that, you might not be able to maybe press above the head or lock out your elbows, anything like that. But you find out where you can get to, and you alter your training to suit that, so you can do movements. So like, use an incline bench instead of a flat bench, use bands pulling from different directions instead of using the machines. There was a great guy that used to train in the martial arts gym, that it was David, he was called, and he used to do Aikido. He couldn't stand up straight. He had a hump on his back, neither of his elbows straightened. Wow. But this guy could still do a forward roll on concrete. He could just zoom on concrete, and he still did Aikido multiple times per week, taught other people and stuff. And he was just the happiest go lucky guy. And he would just row away in the rower, and it'd be so not funny, but it's like, anyone else to look at this guy that didn't understand movement and mobility and stuff would be like, that guy doesn't know how to row. But he literally couldn't straighten his arms, and he couldn't unround his back. So all he could do was go back and forward a tiny, tiny bit forward and backwards, and his arms wouldn't go the full length. But that guy, he was so fit and so sharp. I think, what his age was he? He was in his late 70s when I met him. And the guy was just incredible. That's the way I want to be when I'm older. Just like, you can get on with it. Come on, let's go, let's play. And he was in doing the classes with 20 and 30-year-olds and whatever.
Well, what's cool
training away.
He didn't let it stop him, so he wasn't afraid to get started. Like, if you're in that position, sometimes you turn to Google and you kind of go, oh, what's possible? Or like, I am this age, what can I do? And then you're just met with like whatever Google serves you, which can be
very
mixed.
negative. Yeah.
There's the illogical people as well. Like, there's so many times I see people saying osteoporosis, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't lift weights, blah 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 blah. But if you go to Google and search best exercises for osteoporosis, resistance training is the first thing that pops up. So it's like, there's just people that will just believe what their Aunt Jemima says. And you really shouldn't believe Aunt
Is
Jemima.
Jemima related to Jeff?
Timothy.
Timothy.
Oh, Timothy, right. Okay,
Obviously.
sure.
But there is also so the Google results that you're going to get from asking if, what happens if you're older or whatever. The question is, there is genuinely a biological basis to say, yes, you're going to slow down. You're going to lose your fluids. The things you're going to get. I haven't Googled it in a while. just had a...
Your lubrication.
Hypothetically, if we looked this up earlier, is a decrease in muscle and tendon elasticity, reduction in synovial fluid production.
There we go.
Conditions like arthritis or other joint-related issues are more common, and inactive lifestyles and decreasing physical activity.
So, but even that last one aside, those 3 legitimate biological processes happen. It's just, we all get old. We do, unfortunately. I'm not going to, but everyone else will probably. And you can take that 2 ways, that either this is inevitable, so what's the point? Or this is inevitable, so I'm going to maintain what I have for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because that's what, and we'll get back to the Google in a minute, but that's always in my mind is like, what else am I going to do?
Did you just call it the Google?
The Google.
No.
You're not going to get old, Jenny? Sounds like you just got old. The Google.
Yeah.
I was, look, doesn't matter. I was making a good point.
Like even those 3 points. So we gave the summarized version. Those 3 points took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like almost 7 sentences to get through. Of just like, here's what's going to happen as you get older. This happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And at that point, you're like, well, looks like it's all downhill from here. I'm going to stop reading. If you just push through that a little bit further, the last sentence is along the lines of, it's to do with your lifestyle and your physical activity habits.
Yeah.
And actually those go much further to maintaining or improving from where you're at.
You'd be like Tom, the 79-year-old that I worked with there. He had both hips replaced, and I messaged him one day and asked him how he was feeling because we give him some things to work on. And he was like, I haven't felt my glutes in years. This is amazing. Sorry I didn't get back to you there. I was at a spin class for 45 minutes. I came last, and I'm like,
Wow.
I couldn't do a spin class for 45 minutes, you know?
great.
And it's just like, he just had this complete mentality of just like, yes, I'm older, I've got to do more. And that's, the guy, he would do his spin class every morning. He would go for walks, and he was with the resistance bands and light weights every day. Every day he made time to do stuff. And that was before he worked with me. He had that mentality already there.
Tom, I've just had a flashback to a phrase you once told me.
What's that?
I'm going to build it. So he's retired, and when you're retired, as you say, you're able to spend a bit more time maybe on those lifestyle habits, whatever. So we're told as you get older, you put money away into a pension, and as you get super old or older, you draw from that pension to sustain you. But there's more than one type of pension, Jenny. Did you know?
I did.
There is a movement pension. Wow. Tom, tell us what a movement pension is.
Movement pension is putting effort into your mobility now so that everything moves well, so that as you do start to age, you're then able to always draw on that. So you can just keep on moving to the best of your abilities.
That's amazing.
I was just thinking about SIPs.
Sips?
Self-invested personal pension.
Oh, wow. Not sponsored.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's perfect. It's like the baseline thing you're talking about earlier, potentially in a different episode. This episode.
It's been a long one.
It's been a long episode.
Since Jenny has come on board, the podcast has escalated.
I really like that. Definitely pay into your movement pension, because what's the alternative?
Don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like, why? The time's going to pass anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not just do something?
Yeah. Just each week, put a little bit of money in that pension pot.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be fancy.
Yeah.
And getting started is the hardest part of it, but like once you make it a part of your life, like how often do all of us, like when we get up in the morning, we do a bit of stretching just because that's what you do when you get up.
Yeah.
We're that kind of person now. We identify as that, I'm going to do this so my hip's not stiff later when I'm going to be training, or I'm going to be doing this. So
For sure.
yeah, it's just creating little habits that you'll stick to. So they've got to be easy to start off, and then they get too easy and you're like, I need to do something harder.
Yeah. And no matter where you fit on that scale, if you go to tommorrison.uk, you can find all sorts of resources to help you get started, push on a little bit, or become stupid strong.
TM.
All right.